Okay, so this isn't really a normal video topic that we would explore, but MoneyPuck, yes, MoneyPuck, the organization that does those charts that we very much love to converse about on this YouTube channel, they uploaded their playoff series odds for this year's 2021 Stanley Cup Playoffs, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about the overall matchups and some of the weirder things that are going about it in terms of the actual chart here. So, a little bit of history on MoneyPuck. We did make a whole bunch of videos last year about what they said, because all of the things that they said, some of them were seen as really weird, but they actually came true. Like, for example, the Montreal Canadiens having, I think it was a 60% chance at beating the Penguins in the play-in round. When that came out initially, everybody was like, whoa, that is absolutely crazy. There's no way that Canadiens are beating Sidney Crosby, right? And then they did it. So the MoneyPuck odds really did actually come true there. However, we had ourselves the Vancouver Canucks, who also had the lowest odds of all play-in series teams to actually advance far. And that one was wrong, because what happened there was, hey, the Vancouver Canucks actually won their play-in series, and they actually won in the first round, too. So you can see the hit-or-miss nature of these kinds of lists, but I will say, disclaimer off the bat, this video is indeed being recorded the night of Tuesday, May 11th, so tomorrow, when this video is going to be uploaded at about 12 p.m. PST, the rankings, the overall odds, they might actually change. So this kind of thing is not static. It changes as different games and different statistics are put into the database, and this model primarily focuses on a few things, not just the wins and the losses and the talent, but a few advanced analytics as well. So puck possession, the competition you're playing, and how good exactly the matchups are and all that. And you will see just how important these factors are when it comes to their odds as to who's going to win the Stanley Cup this season. So right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs have the highest odds at winning the Stanley Cup, according to the MoneyPuck odds on May 11th. They have an 18.4% chance at winning. And you may take a look at that and say, darn, that's crazy. How the heck does Toronto have such a high chance at winning? It's essentially 1 in 5. You have 5 lottery balls circling around in a tank. One of them has the Stanley Cup engraved onto it. What are the odds that you pull out that one ball out of the 5? 20%? That's about the odds that the Leafs have right now under this statistical model at winning the Stanley Cup. And if you take a look at some of the other matchups here, you can see, okay, the Montreal Canadiens have a 1.3% chance at winning, and the Winnipeg Jets have a 0.3% chance at winning. Yeah, that's really not great for those teams over there. The model really isn't favoring their overall play, which should be probably considered accurate because of how poorly they've been playing as of late. But the big thing I wanted to highlight here, first and foremost, is indeed the Tampa Bay Lightning, last year's Stanley Cup champions, and the team that many people, myself included, was kind of pegging as becoming that repeat champion once again. They're in a position where they still had themselves a very good year without Nikita Kucherov. They played the entire season without that guy who just happened to be one of the top scorers in the previous few years. They still finished third without him, and they're in a spot where he's probably going to come back. Now, the Lightning haven't been perfect. They've had some concerns going around with Steven Stamkos. They've had some concerns with Victor Hedman as well. Last year's Conn Smythe winner, absolute game-changing defenseman overall. But if you take a look at the model that the Lightning are displaying within this database, they have a 3.8% chance at winning the cup under this model. And you take a look at that and you're like, darn, what is it about Toronto that makes them 5 times more likely to win the Stanley Cup this year compared to Tampa Bay? And, you know, this is where the competition factor plays into it, because right now the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're going to play the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. That is solidified. It's going to happen. And the way the Habs have been playing, it really doesn't look all too great, especially lately. You can see the waning confidence of Canadiens fans heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs as to how much they believe their team is going to go far. And Toronto's in a spot where they've just been on top the entire time. We've known that they've been priming themselves cup or bust this year. And in an all-Canadian division where one Canadian team is guaranteed to make the Final Four, Toronto is licking their lips because they want to be that team. And they've assembled themselves in such a way that I mean, they probably could beat every team in the Canadian division in a best-of-7 series if you really said, okay, this is the time to do it. It's go time. It's the playoffs. So the fact that Toronto is playing Montreal in the first round and they'll play the winner of Edmonton, Winnipeg in the second round bodes well for them because, hey, they have winning records against all these teams. Here's Toronto's chart as of today against all the Canadian teams this season, and hey, the opponent with the best record is actually Vancouver, as they've won 4 out of their 9 matchups. You can see the next teams, hey, Winnipeg, they've only won 3, Ottawa has won 3, Montreal has won 3, and they've played 10 times. So for Toronto, I mean, the statistics and the overall data kind of really say that they are probably going to storm their way to the Final Four. Now, meanwhile, for the Tampa Bay Lightning, in the first round, they're playing Florida, and Florida has a 10.4% chance of winning this season. They have been absolutely ballistic this year. I cannot stress how good the Florida Panthers have been. They've won 6 in a row at the time of this recording, and they have just been on top of the world. In fact, among those 6 wins, take a look at this, the previous 2 have been against Tampa, and they were really convincing as well. 5-1 on Saturday, 4-0 2 days ago. Yeah, the Panthers have been great, and facing off against a Tampa Bay Lightning team that might not have the most security with their guys as they would have liked to heading into the playoffs means that the Panthers probably do have the statistical edge. Now, we'll see as to whether or not the Tampa Bay Lightning can still get it done. They've been the guys who have come back from adversity. They were defeated in 2019 by the Columbus Blue Jackets in absolutely incredible fashion, getting swept 4-0, and then they rebounded the next year with a cup win. So they know how to come back from adversity. And things like this, with all the uncertainties with Hedman and Barclay Goodrow as well, who also got injured recently, you have yourselves a whole bunch of things to overcome if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning, but if they're the team that's going to go out there and do it, I don't ever want to bet against Tampa. Which is why, in a vacuum, it looks really weird to see that Toronto has an 18.5% chance at winning the Cup, while the Tampa Bay Lightning have a 3.8% chance. But it all has to do with the matchups, because even if Tampa is able to beat Florida, guess what? They have the Carolina Hurricanes or the Predators in the second round. Hurricanes have been really good this season, too. They were first in the division for a reason. The Predators just barely itched their way in. You saw the Nashville Predators Twitter account changing their fandom from day to day as to who would be playing their opponents in the standings. But overall, the Tampa Bay Lightning have a lot more difficult of a path to go through if they wanted to make themselves known as a playoff Final Four contender. Toronto just has to beat the teams that they have been beating quite handily this entire season, 4 out of 7 times, twice. I guarantee you if you switch the positions, if Toronto was playing Florida in the first round and eventually Carolina or Nashville in the second, they would not have 18.4% as their number here for the Stanley Cup odds on MoneyPuck. And furthermore, if you had Tampa playing against Montreal in the first round and eventually Edmonton or Winnipeg, you would have a much higher number than 3.8% for Tampa heading into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's kind of the model here. It's also very clearly depicted in the other categories. You can see make second round. Toronto has a 74% chance of doing that. Colorado has a 78% chance of making the second round. The reason for that is because they're playing the Wild in the first round. The Golden Knights are playing the Blues in the first round, and the Blues have a very low percent chance of actually doing damage here. The reason why things are a lot difficult for Colorado and Vegas is because they're going to be facing each other in the third round if everything goes according to the model, and that really does skew the chances as to whether or not they're going to go out there and actually win. Toronto has that 52% chance of making it to round 3 because Toronto, we just noted, they're Toronto playing against Canadian teams. So, talk to me in the comments what you think ultimately about these playoff odds and obviously how the divisions impact it. We know that Toronto is playing against other teams that they have just been so good against, which is why their odds are so high. Tampa Bay's got a lot more of a difficult path, which is why their odds are really low. Talk to me in the comments what you think about this playoff run. Who do you think is actually going to win? We might have to do a playoff prediction video soon, man. That's probably something we're going to have to talk about. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that soon. But in general, let me know your thoughts on the odds, the teams, and all that. Who do you cheer for, and what are your odds? How do you feel about those? I hope you enjoyed this video. Josh Wilson 99, and bye.